Tell them how you trapped me, Tiana. He laughed, loud enough for the whole picnic table to hear. Someone gasped. His mother smirked. I swallowed hard. You really want the truth? My name is Danielle Brooks, and I'm 34 years old. I work as a pediatric nurse at a public hospital. Long shifts, hard nights, soft heart. I spend my days holding sick babies and calming scared parents. I've always been the dependable one, the quiet fixer, the peacemaker in my family. I grew up in a modest home where the smell of fried chicken and bleach mixed together on Saturdays because my mom cleaned houses all week and still cooked big meals with pride. My dad drove trucks across 3 states and came home tired but smiling. We didn't have much money, but we had respect. When I met him, I believed in building something steady. Not flashy, not loud, just honest. When I found out I was pregnant, I was scared, but I wasn't ashamed. What hurt wasn't becoming a mother. It was hearing whispers that I had planned it. His family never really welcomed me. I wasn't polished enough for them. I didn't come from money or status. I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something they didn't expect. I had proof, and I had patience. If you've ever been judged before anyone asked for your side, hit that subscribe button. I know what it feels like to be labeled without a chance to speak. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been misunderstood on purpose? Click hype if you believe truth always finds its way out. Let's go. The reunion was loud and bright, with kids running and ribs smoking on the grill. The air smelled like charcoal and sweet sauce. Everybody was laughing when he grabbed the microphone for the funny story segment. He tapped it twice and grinned. Y'all know I wasn't ready to be a dad. Some people make sure you don't get a choice. A few cousins laughed. His sister leaned toward an aunt and said, loud enough for me to hear, "That's what happens when you mess with desperate girls." My hands froze on the stroller handle. I felt every eye on me. He kept going. She knew I was about to move for that job. Baby locked me down. I opened my mouth, but his mother waved her hand. Honey, just let it go. What's done is done. Then he smiled like a hero. I'm stepping up anyway, doing the right thing. People clapped. He shook his head like he was carrying a burden. Then he added, I've got texts to prove she begged for a baby. The crowd started murmuring. I knew exactly which texts he meant. Half conversations, cropped words, twisted truth. I looked around. Nobody asked me anything. Nobody said my name. I felt small for 1 second. Then I felt steady. I lifted my chin. You want the whole story? I said it soft, but this time I meant it. After that, things got worse before they got better. When it was time for family photos, they called his name and the baby's name. Mom can step out for a second, someone said. I stood to the side while they posed like a perfect picture. An aunt leaned close to me and whispered, You should be grateful he didn't leave you. Grateful. I nodded politely, but inside I started documenting everything, every comment, every look. Later, he pulled me behind the pavilion. Don't embarrass me today, he said through his teeth. Let's keep it cute. I stared at him. You embarrassed me first. He stepped closer. If you start drama, we can talk custody. You don't want that. That's when I saw it clearly. This was about his image, not our child. Then his cousin walked by and joked, Better watch your sons around her. Something in me snapped, but I stayed calm. Watch your lies first, I replied. He blinked, surprised I answered back. I remembered nights when he texted me about wanting a baby to impress his parents. I remember him saying it would make him look settled. My silence had protected him for months. I thought I was keeping peace. I was really feeding his story. I looked at him across the grass, laughing with people who believed him. I felt the shift inside my chest. I'm done protecting someone who's busy destroying me.
What they didn't know was I keep receipts. Every voice note, every screenshot, every late night confession he sent when he thought love meant control. I saved the message where he said, "If we have a baby, my mom will finally respect me." I saved the audio where he laughed and admitted he stopped using protection on purpose. I even checked the laws in our state to make sure I could play what I had. I wasn't reckless. I was careful. I didn't want revenge. I wanted truth. I read those messages over and over, not because it felt good, but because it reminded me I wasn't crazy. I wasn't desperate. I wasn't a trap. I was a woman who trusted the wrong man. I waited for the right moment, a moment where he couldn't talk over me, a moment where denial would sound foolish. I had a plan they never saw coming. That's when my cousin Renee stepped in. Renee has always been the outspoken one, the black sheep they say talks too much. She saw the microphone stunt and pulled me aside. "You don't deserve that," she said. "If you've got proof, don't let them bully you." I looked at her for a long second. "I've got more than proof." She smiled slow. "Then let's use it." Renee had brought a small projector for a family slideshow. She also had a loud Bluetooth speaker. The Camley kept acting like they had already won. His mother even said near the food table, "Some women will do anything for security." I locked eyes with Renee across the pavilion. No more shrinking, no more silence. We waited until the final announcements. The sun was dropping low and everyone was gathered again. The stage was open. My heart was calm, cold, ready. When the closing remarks started, I walked up. My heels clicked against the wooden boards. "Since we're sharing stories," I said, taking the microphone. He laughed nervously. "Babe, don't." I ignored him. Renee connected her phone to the speaker. The first voice memo played. His voice filled the pavilion. "If you got pregnant, I'd finally have a reason to stay. It helped my image." Gasps rippled through the crowd. His mother stood up. "That's edited." I nodded toward the projector as Renee displayed the full thread with timestamps. There it was in plain words. I stopped pulling out. "Don't worry about it." The only sound now was the wind moving through the trees. He rushed forward. "That was private." I looked straight at him. So was my dignity. Aunties whispered. Cousins stared at him like they didn't know who he was. He reached for the phone, but Renee stepped between us. I pressed play one last time. His voice again. "I'll just say you trapped me. Nobody questions the guy." The words hung heavy. Nobody laughed now. Nobody clapped. He stood there, mouth open, reputation cracked, in front of the very people he tried to impress. I didn't yell. I didn't smile. I picked up my baby and held her close. "I never trapped anyone," I said calmly. "I chose my child." I told him I would be filing for formal custody and child support, properly documented. His mother sat down slowly and avoided my eyes. A few relatives walked over later and whispered apologies. I accepted them, but I didn't need them. As I walked to my car, the air felt lighter. My chest felt open. I realized something simple. I never needed their approval. I needed my voice. The truth doesn't shout. It waits. And when it speaks, it doesn't ask permission. If someone ever twisted your story to protect their own image, you know how deep that cut goes. Have you ever been publicly blamed for something that wasn't your fault? Share your story below. Subscribe if you believe the truth deserves a microphone too. Click Hype to help the story reach others who need it. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every hype you give this video helps empower someone else. Thank you for being here and for listening. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. If this story touched your heart,
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories about resilience, dignity, and quiet justice. Because some lessons don't come with applause, they come with peace.